Creative, but I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in. I'm Carrie Salvo. I'm now the Director of Communications for Minclove Designs and the Mission Inc. companies. So that's Minclove Design Farm, Mission Bar and Tapas, which is located on Upper North Street in Pittsfield. The Market, which is a green grocery store about to open in a few weeks. And the Word by Word Festival, which officially launched this past summer. We're working on programming for 2010. And lots of exciting things happening at all four of our businesses. And so now I'll introduce Jim Benson, who is the creative force behind these four entities. Thanks.
Good evening. Hello. Thank you for coming here. This is kind of a first for us, presenting, and a lot of what we do is, everything that we do is very unscientific, and we try to find a balance between being as serious as we can, but as spontaneous and creative as we can. And we try to do that right off the bat, just in terms of how we come up with ideas to begin with, how we come up with names, how we present ourselves, out in the public, etc. So the first slide here is kind of a framework for the presentation that we're going to do tonight. Dr. Minclove, or How We Learned to Stop Sucking and Love the Berkshires, and really pretty much refers to us feeling that we needed to get something going on, that the Berkshires has something going on, and that it was more us trying to find a niche, find a way into to doing something fun, interesting, and rewarding. Oh, the police are here. I've got to go. So, first slide, please. A lot of what we do is using the latest in modern techniques, methodologies, technologies, etc. And pretty much this is one of the best ideas we've ever come up with. Not the slide, but the overhead projector. Thank you. It's actually much lighter than it seems. But so, in all seriousness, a couple of years ago, this was my brain on North Street, and there wasn't much there in my brain on North Street. And I had very much wanted to do something downtown, and again, like I said, needed that starting point. So we started here, and then next slide, please. It's impressive, isn't it? It starts with a concept, and mission for me was the first concept. Having been a restaurant guy for a long time, it was really the only thing that I felt I knew anything about. And so I wanted to design something as a restaurant that I felt would be as perfect as I could get it for where it was going to be. And so that was going into the space. And I was looking at the space, and I think a lot of the creativity was similar to any artistic endeavor. It was taking the material that was in front of me and changing it into a finished product. And that ended up being mission. So first I needed the concept, and then next slide is the, can we get the AV guy here? This is not right at all. Ready? Yeah. Do, something like this. It's very scientific. Where's my helper? So anyway, the next step was creating it. It was the creation of the thing itself, which is kind of where Minclove Design came in, and Minclove pretty clearly and obviously is Mission Inc. We needed a name in a pinch, and so that was it, Minclove Design. And so that became the thing that created Mission visually, graphically, and was sort of my first move into realizing that there's an awful lot of young talent in Berkshire County in Pittsfield, downtown in Pittsfield specifically. So Jay Hallstein sort of came aboard at that point and started doing all of the graphics, the textiles that you see in Mission, you know, the curtains, the pillows, etc. So it really became very instrumental, and at that point, next slide, and you need the top piece. Okay. At that point, really we began to get some momentum and realized that as long as we could think of something and conceive it and create it, we could sort of keep going and doing new, different, hopefully better, or at least useful things. And so what came out of there was the market. And the market is something that we're opening in a few weeks on North Street. You know, a local urban oasis, a place to go for you know, local food, local produce, hopefully some, you know, social outlet, but just more glue to hold the whole thing together. And again, it just began to perpetuate itself. And so our next move was to take Jesus Stein, who was the chef at Mission, move him over to the market. And so this, you know, this team and this whole really started clicking on all cylinders at that point. And then next to last slide. And I have to do, does anybody know this comedian, Jake Johansson from the 80s? He used to just have this rambling monologue of stories, and he would always, this was kind of his go-to. So the final piece, you know, the closing of the circle, and the thing that kind of brought it all together for us last summer was the Word by Word Festival. And it was inclusive in the sense that we were, for a group of 3 people, we were kind of able to exponentially increase our staff size from hiring an intern to hiring an office person to beginning to look around for other young talented people, website person, PR person, etc. So we were trying to be inclusive, build a community, hire from within, and also create something that would bring people into Berkshire County, Pittsfield, and downtown Pittsfield in particular. And so that's what Word by Word's goal really was, to bring in talent, music, poetry, theater, etc. from outside the area, attract fans, customers, attendees from outside the area, and really begin to do as much as we can to build from the inside in Berkshire County, in downtown. And so I think this kind of paints graphically how we work, where our ideas come from, and ultimately, you know, I think that kind of linking as opposed to moving linearly is, that's probably the word, but kind of linking things together, circle after circle, reaching into collaborative efforts with other festivals in the area, whether it be BIF or Fool's Fest, tying in with other restaurants, other organizations like Berkshire Grown. So then you really do begin to build this very powerful, I think, sort of community of business and creativity where we live. And it's my belief anyway that that's a stronger and better, more future-oriented model than some of the other ways that things have been done before. And so I think final slide. And it sort of all comes into focus here. No, that's not supposed to be. Shameless self-promotion, that should go away. Anyway, really, that's it. Happy to take the questions or 5 minutes more. I can't do that. Yeah.
What was the final slide?
The final slide was kind of a shameless self-promotion as
Put it in there.
That sort of thing. It's just the logo for Mission. So it's kind of, for us, it ended up being where it all started. And Carrie is the most recent addition to our team. And we're very happy to have her. Chizu is over here, Jay is here. Jordan is here, and it's kind of our whole team.
Where's the market?
The market is the corner of North and Redford, so it's across from Mission down a little bit.
Your programming is really interesting, and the Word by Word Festival was extraordinary. I don't even know how you did the logistics, but you're attracting an audience that I think a lot of organizations would like to see in their halls as well. What do you think the element is in your programming that's attracting that demographic?
I think there's two things, or at least there's two ways that I approached it, and so if they're working, this might be why. Some of it was just trying to, again, fit the thing into the whole. So if it's taking the room at Mission, originally Mission didn't have any music, and so like any other restaurant, I was struggling to get customers in, and thought, oh, hey, music, and Mission's not an ideal music venue. The sound can be really bad. I mean, if you've been in there, you have to shout to the person right next to you to talk. So it was kind of finding what type of music would work, and that we could afford. Because it can be very, very expensive to bring in music. So it was part of it was that, and then part of it was again kind of using design as the launching point and trying to make our presentation to musicians outside, regionally, nationally, internationally now, look as legit as possible, because we had no track record whatsoever, and it was kind of shamelessly emailing people saying, hey, would you play, and being ignored 99% of the time, but kind of not really caring how many times I was said no to, and until somebody said yes, and then that person, and so now it's at the point where we can't even really keep up with the requests.
I came in late, so I may have missed the point I'm going to make when I answer this question. As far as you made the comment, we look for other young talent. Why focus in on young talent?
I think it's a great question, and the only reason that I make the distinction is because I feel like there was a particular bleed off of young talented people from Berkshire County, that there was the sense from, and if you ask them, the sense that we can't get work or a job or something fulfilling here, we have to go somewhere else. So they were going to Boston, they were going to New York, California, wherever they were going, and so it was an attempt really to stop that. So it's not, meant to be exclusionary in any other sense. It's just trying to keep the loss of our young people from continuing.
Are they all designed to be kind of feeder businesses for each other? They all have relations.
Yeah, exactly. Everything, one of the ways that I described it to a friend the other day is, they're not spin-offs per se, but I guess in a sense they are, but they do all kind of help each other, and they are all at least tangentially something that each of us is capable of kind of doing some of each of them, if you know what I mean. It's like if it was a whole separate thing, one or more of us would be utterly unqualified to participate. But as long as we kind of niche it away. And Minc House was a great example. We started with Jay's poster designs, just trying to get people to come and see music. And then that kind of led to a late night conversation, hey, we should do t-shirts. And so we did. And then that led to, a greater graphic design sort of enterprise and, broader into textiles. And now, when musicians come in, we actually have a whole presentation that we do. Bring them in downstairs, bring them in upstairs to the production studio, show them examples of things that we've done, projects that we currently have. So we now do, Jordan's designed a couple of CD covers. We have a number of increasingly large t-shirt clients in the music business. We've begun getting sort of booking representational requests. So it all does kind of just sort of follow and we don't know how to say no.
If I could just tag on to the end of that, I think one of the things that we also talk about amongst ourselves a fair amount and adds to the inclusion or dovetails with the inclusion piece is that while each of the businesses, to your point, are freestanding individual, they're also feeder businesses, not only for themselves, but for the community as a whole. Because, you know, what Jay and Jordan are doing at Minc House, I mean, we have clients in the community. Red Lion Inn is one of them. So we're looking to support the community in that way as well. You know, we want people to come to the market, feel like it's their community store. Come to Mission with your friends and chat and enjoy music and things of that nature. Does that make sense?
Jeremy?
Thank you. Can you just do one more question?
Okay, one more question. Jeremy.
Yeah, the low anthem shirt that you made is my go-to T-shirt right now. You book people at Mission that would typically play at Helsinki before, commanding a ticket price of $35 or more, and you're charging a cover of $10. I can't help but wonder, and I guess I'll ask: are you at the point where this model you're talking about is profitable for you, or are you still, are you still at the investment stage of building your name recognition, getting the community together?
Definitely still at the investment stage, at least in part because we kind of keep expanding. So I think if we had concentrated on one thing only, i.e. Mission would probably be very nicely profitable, but it's busy, you know, sustaining the graphic design business, which then sustains the first year of Word by Word, and then, you know, and then additional investment necessary for the market. So, you know, it's, you know, a little bit of this. But,
We appreciate it.
thank you all very much.